So right now we're going to bring up our partners from Boost CTR, and they're going to talk to you about their solution. And then from there, we're going to roll into our product updates, and then our closing keynote with Michael Moritz, and a final word from Mr. Ted Krantz. So please join me in welcoming the folks from Boost CTR. Erik? I should say folk. Erik.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. How's the scavenger hunt? Good? Got the blood flowing? Break up the morning, that type of thing? Excellent. Well, I'm here to talk to you today about something that historically has been pretty boring, actually. So, when you look back in terms of advertising and how it's evolved, the concept of ad testing has been something that really hasn't gotten a lot of attention, nor, for good reason, has it had the focus that it deserves because of how boring it is. I kind of liken it to the automobile industry, right? So BMW, if we were to say the same thing about ad testing, they would say they sell cars. But in fact, they don't sell cars. They do something way more than that. Does anybody know what BMW's slogan is or tagline is in the audience? The ultimate driving machine. Thank you. The ultimate driving machine. I should be in the car business. The thing is, focusing on ad optimization is something that really needs to evolve. And the way that it's been before is not how it is today. And what I mean by that is the notion has been set earlier on with fusing or the intersection of art and science. And so at Boost, that's exactly what we've done. Our friends over at VentureBeat recently covered us, and they mentioned that we're madmen that meet Silicon Valley. And we thought that was really cool. On the Silicon Valley subject, I'm really excited to be here and really excited to make a few announcements. First of all, I know that many have traveled far and wide, worldwide, to come and be at this incredible event and expected an incredible event. And it's been just that. So I want to thank Kenshoo, Aaron, Lindsay, Kelly, Jonathan, everybody that's helped put this together because it's been fantastic. So thank you. And I have some more exciting news. Last week, we announced an $8 million Series B round by Battery Ventures. This puts us in very, very good company amidst some of the best in marketing, analytics, and others in the space. And speaking of being in good company, we also are doing creative optimization for some of the greatest in each vertical across the space. Specifically in search, social, display, and mobile. But I'm not here to talk about clients, I'm here to talk about creative optimization. And before I talk more about where it's going, I want to revisit where it has been. And so in the past, you look back to Madison Avenue in the 1950s. Advertising was all about creative. It was all about storytelling. It was cutting to the core of the customer. To quote Don Draper, advertising is all about happiness. It's the smell of a new car. It's seeing a billboard going down the highway, reaching out, saying everything that you're doing is okay. You are okay. And over the decades, Ogilvy, Freud, a bunch of great visionaries have taken advertising, have taken a look at the psychology behind it, and evolved it to help us figure out how we can cut to the core of these customers, get into their mindsets, understand what makes them tick, what drives them. And so, as we've seen over time, decade by decade, we've been able to establish audiences. We've been able to have great research firms. We've been able to peer into the veil of what makes the consumer tick. But it wasn't until the last decade or so, that we could actually get the data ourselves. And so because there was such a deficiency in terms of getting this direct data for decades and decades and decades, we now have had the opportunity for the last 10 to 15 years to measure everything that the customer is doing. We may not know exactly how it comes together, and we're still perfecting that, and that's why we've had great presentations earlier today to speak to that. But what we do know is that we've been smitten with the data for the last 10 to 15 years. And what has that led to? Well, that led to us focusing more on the metrics than the creative, because we all of a sudden had something that we could optimize against, that we could work with, that we could use to make your campaigns even better. And today, what we do for clients and looking forward, again, touching on that art meets science concept, the modern consumer demands more. They know what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. And so you've got to reach that audience. It was incredible data earlier by Josh on how only 15% are customizing their creative to mobile specific versus their desktop. That's 1 in 6. 1 in 6 campaigns are not optimized for the channel that they're going out to. And so, as you recognize that that is a massive opportunity, we realize that creative relevance is king. And the fusion between creative in terms of how it started and where we've become on the math side, the data side, is where the future lies in terms of success and excellent campaign performance. So now that we've painted the picture of why creative and science is important, let's talk about how Boost fits into the Kenshoo ecosystem. You see, it starts off with targeting, right? You have to know who you're reaching. Who's your ideal customer? Ogilvy said, you're not looking for your target, it's your wife, right? So knowing who that is extremely important. Placing a value with costs is extremely important. It's what makes the world go round, especially in the modern digital advertising industry. And lastly, the creative is where Boost comes in. We complete the foundation of the 3 pillars of the modern online advertising landscape. And to have end-to-end infinite optimization, creative is an integral piece of this equation. Kenshoo is some of the brightest engineers worldwide, and specifically in the industry. And they've built a platform that's incredible, that has pushed the envelope in terms of the efficiency that we get out of these advertising campaigns. Boost has some of the greatest expert copywriters and designers in the world, and specifically in the United States, Latin America, and Europe. And what they offer is expert perspective, diversity, and most importantly, the customer mindset. You're having your customers write ads for your brands and your products, and that's incredible. So now that we understand how Boost fits into the Kenshoo ecosystem and how important creative is, let's talk about what creative can do for you. Really focusing on creative is not just an ad. It's an opportunity to increase profitability. Because this lever has not been pulled in the past. It signifies a huge opportunity, and that's what we've seen with our customers. By pulling this creative lever and offering more unique ads, not just the ones that are templated, that help provide scale and reach that customer in a relevant messaging, it's incredibly impactful for your bottom line. And we work with advertisers and agencies to customize their specific targeted metrics to make sure that we're optimizing against those. The second is time savings. So historically, there's 3 important tasks, and we replace all of those. The actual writing of the ads, the testing, and the reporting, with just one task: accepting better ads and watching how they perform. To us, it's incredible. You work with us for 3.5 hours a month, you get a couple thousand new ads, and all of a sudden you've got relevant messaging coming online for your campaigns every month. And if that's not enough, if we've not saved you enough time and not having to add headcount, increase profitability by offering relevant messaging. The last is more of the qualitative insights. So once the test or the optimization round is done, not only do we actually drive that profitability increase for you, we help explain or provide insights as to why these ads are performing better. And we're actually working with some of the top data scientists from Johns Hopkins and Stanford to help explore and push the envelope on understanding how creative messaging resonates with these customers and what makes them tick. So now that we understand the benefits, I want to talk about the main event. We're presenting a video here which has been essentially the summation of my work over the last year with Boost. I've gotten together with partners, customers, and agencies and asked them, in their words, can you help please explain the opportunity in creative and what it means to you? What can you gain from creative optimization? So with that, let's let it roll.
Kenshoo's focus is on providing the absolute best management and optimization for digital marketing. And when we look at the creative aspect of it, Boost's ability to reach outside of an organization's resources and tap additional resources in the crowd to really gain a lift on the creative aspect and then bring those results back into Kenshoo for bidding optimization, I think that's incredibly powerful.
Creative testing is very important. I look at ad text in search engines as the first opportunity for you to either attract a user to your site or convince the user that you're not the right fit for them. And both are important.
Creative testing is incredibly important. It can literally make or break an entire campaign.
Ad optimization for your paid search accounts can have huge impacts on quality score, click-through rate, which can drive lower cost per clicks, as well as increased conversion rates.
Part of trying to optimize creative is trying to bring an objective measure to something that's subjective. There haven't been a lot of tools out there to allow you to do that. And typically, you try and solve the problems that are more manageable, that you have tools for.
It's important to be as relevant as possible, which means, oftentimes writing hundreds or thousands of unique ads.
Our accounts is so big, it's really hard to really pay attention to individual ads or individual ad groups.
I think one of the problems with managing creative is having the headcount to effectively manage it. And one of the places I think Boost adds so much value is in being able to add headcount on demand to supplement your existing FTEs and meet that demand whenever you need it.
Simply put, when you test, you're able to get higher click-through rate, you're able to get better conversion rate, better revenue, more volume, better profits. Anyone who doesn't test is basically leaving money on the table.
So ad text optimization is sort of the forgotten element, if you will, of AdWords. Nobody's been paying attention to this. It's an afterthought to most advertisers. Yet here it is also one of the biggest components of what drives success in a campaign. We're going to see potentially some interesting things happening in that space, but I think that's also where a company like Boost is already leading that way and showing that there is value in actually looking at the ad text as a main component of your success in online advertising.
So fortunately, I have a job because most people would rather jump out the window than do A/B testing. With a little humor in between, our second clip specifically addresses the Boost method and the performance impact that customers have seen when working with us and focusing on that.
Boost is a service that leverages a network of qualified ad copywriters as well as a proprietary software solution for scaling ad testing across your paid search accounts.
Boost is kind of like that creative brain or creative side of the team where that always turns out brand new ideas or ideas that you haven't thought of for your ads.
I think that the biggest value that Boost brings to us is the network of copywriters.
You definitely need the art and the science to be successful.
What I love about Boost is they will actually give you a report that says, here's ad texts that you haven't touched in a long time, and here's 2 or 3 ad texts that you've run inside of a single ad group, and here's one that's way outperforming all of the others, and you might not even have realized it because AdWords doesn't really have the built-in reporting to tell you these things.
Once Boost was in the picture with us, we were able to systematically test across our entire account and look at the big opportunities that existed there and do it in a systemic, automated way without a lot of headaches, hassles, spreadsheets, and with automated statistical relevance reporting.
Well, I think creative is a really, really subjective thing to many people. And so optimizing it allows you to apply objective factors so you actually can get the most out of your investment and have the best interaction possible.
If you have gone to bid management companies, if you have a big in-house team that's already tweaked your campaign as far as you think you can take it, well, here's a company now, Boost, that is actually able to eke out a whole bunch more efficiency by looking at the thing that nobody else has looked at, ad texts.
When you begin to optimize your creative, you're really able to actually understand, in some cases, what it is your customers care about. And it's great that that'll improve your ads, but it's even better that you now know your customers better.
So it's all about personalization.
So I think over time it's easy to generate lifts of 30, 40, 50, 60% or more in terms of CTR, CPCs, CPA type numbers.
And that's one thing I like about Boost is that they have reports that will say these ads ran during the same time periods. They had the same chance to get impressions during this period of time, and here's the one that was the best ad. And here's the ones that you probably want to change because they're underperforming, right? That's valuable.
Boost saves us hours a week as far as ad testing. We didn't have enough hours in the day to begin with, but our PPC analysts would typically spend probably 5+ hours a week with ad testing. Now it's probably less than half an hour a week just approving ads from copywriters and just paying attention to the results of the tests.
More revenue overall, better ROI.
And so Boost has all of these tools, and in fact they're the only company that I've seen that takes an approach that's specifically for ad text optimization.
Boost CTR helps companies efficiently scale their ad text regimen to drive incremental clicks at a lower cost with a higher conversion rate.
The results for using Boost for this last month, for example, I believe we saw a lift in conversion rates of close to 30% across our combined ad groups that were tested, and as well as improvements in click-through rate. When we look at it from a conversion per impression perspective, we saw close to 40% lift for the ad groups that were tested.
You got to make each word in the digital conversation count.
So, to bring it full circle, the Boost platform has the potential to do 3 things. Increase profitability, save hundreds of hours a month on writing, testing, and reporting by just accepting better ads, and providing qualitative insights that allow you to better understand your customers. With that, I want to thank you all very much for taking the time to be at such an incredible event with us. We really look forward to speaking to you directly about your optimization needs. Thank you.